Scorpio, welcome to your weekly reading for October 3rd to the 9th. Let's get started here for Scorpio and see what is the energy around the week ahead. Now keep in mind these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone, so make sure to check out your other placements because you could have messages there as well. Okay, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What is the energy around the week ahead for you, Scorpio? Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week ahead, October 3rd to the 9th. Okay. Let's see. Okay, bottom of the deck, we see Unfinished Symphony. So this card always makes me think, are you bringing closure to something that needs closure? Are you being confronted with it this week? Let's see. Very interesting. Okay. So we've got a Not For You card here and an Unfinished Symphony. So that to me says you need some closure on something. We've also got Thinker and Fork in the Road. So you may need to make a choice about something that's really heavy on your mind right now, about perhaps something that is unfinished, that was left unfinished from the past. Now, this may not seem like a blessing, but you definitely have the Blessed card here. It is coming up in the reverse position. So that makes me feel like you might not feel like this is a blessing at all. You know, like looking at this thing again that's not for you, that you keep thinking about, that you have to make a choice about, something that's unfinished that might need closure. It doesn't feel like a blessing, but it is. So that makes me feel like you're moving towards something here that is going to be really sort of impactful on your journey. You've got card 22 and 44, which are master numbers here and angel numbers. So I feel like you're coming into union with something and you're being guided not to worry about it. You're being guided to have faith that this is a blessing, and it might involve some redirection for something that's not for you. Something that you maybe need to bring some closure to with that Unfinished Symphony card. Let's jump into the tarot cards here and see what messages await you. But this already feels like it's going to be a week where it could be a blessing in disguise that's redirecting you from something that's not for you. Makes me wonder if it's not part of your plans. You know, sometimes our plans and God's plans are very different. Sometimes the ego wants something that the divine knows is not for us. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's see. For Scorpio, there's the Hermit. So yeah, you're definitely going to be reflecting on some stuff for sure. This is a point where it's time for reflection, and we see the Ten of Wands and the High Priestess in reverse coming out together. I'm going to keep them together, which tells me that, again, like I was just saying, that you may have plans that differ from the divine plans. You might be ready for something that the divine is saying, hey, that's not for you. There is something here causing a burden in your life, and you're ready to lay that burden down. But perhaps there is another way around this. Perhaps there's a different way that the divine wants you to proceed. And so I feel like you might be looking for a shortcut. You might be looking for a quick way to sort of bring some closure to an unfinished symphony, but that might not be the path that the divine is sort of echoing in your ear. So what is your inner voice guiding you towards? Seeing the Hermit tells me that you have some more reflection to do. And Temperance is guiding you to trust the divine timing and to be patient with timing, trusting that it takes time to move from one chalice to another. And that's exactly what Archangel Michael is doing here, with one foot on the ground and one foot in the water, which to me represents staying grounded in the present moment and still being in touch with your intuition, but staying grounded and trusting that this is all divinely orchestrated to get you to your highest timeline, even if that doesn't go with your plans. You know, it's an interesting beginning to your reading here. Three of Wands. Yeah, there is a new path taking hold here, and there's the Queen of Cups. Again, guiding you intuitively to love, forgive, have compassion, use your intuitive senses to guide you, and to also be very open emotionally to what is, and to trust it, to not try to change the direction of the river, but rather to go with the flow and to trust that it will carry you to a safe shore. The Fool. That's where it's carrying you. It's carrying you to a new beginning, one where you're really being guided to sort of see the immediate need for a new path. And you've got the fork in the road here. You are being guided here, Scorpio, to really feel this new energy. And it's very interesting, actually, because it feels like letting go leads to freedom for you from something that's not for you. This burden you've been carrying around thinking that that's what you need to do. Yep, there's the Hierophant in reverse and the Two of Wands. So you're really being guided to sort of evaluate if something is outdated here, that maybe you don't need to go with status quo. Perhaps you're being guided away from status quo because it doesn't serve you in some way. There's the fork in the road again coming through in the tarot cards with the Two of Wands. So it's a crossroads. You're at a point here where it's time to make a decision about where you want to go. And we saw the Three of Wands too. You've got the 2 and the 3. So you really are moving towards sort of choosing your path and then watching it unfold before your eyes. And it's interesting. It's Wands. Again, I really feel like you're being guided to take the path that the divine is guiding you towards, because the other road is not for you. That other road could lead you backwards towards something that your ego may want, but it actually doesn't bring in the blessings that the divine is trying to guide you towards right now. And there's the Chariot in reverse. So you may be moving in a way that's going to lead to you getting stuck. And that needs some thinking here, which is why we see the Hermit, and then on the bottom of the deck we're seeing Judgment. So this is leading to an awakening. This is leading to a sort of a redeeming moment for you where everything is going to make sense, like you'll start to understand why this wasn't for you. But I feel like whatever's not for you in this situation, Scorpio, I feel like it's what's familiar. And so you're almost being guided here to choose against what's familiar, to choose against convention, to choose against tradition, to go where that voice in your head is whispering for you to go. And that may require some more reflection on your part. It's very interesting. You might need some time in solitude to figure this out. You don't necessarily need to talk to anyone. This is about you figuring out you. This is a moment of inner reflection, contemplation. This is a time for you to do some soul searching, to sort of move away from the busyness of sort of over busyness, like being productive just for the sake of not being reflective, if that makes sense, and to really see where you're stuck. And perhaps it has a choice point. I do see that you're at a crossroads and that there's a fork in the road here for you. You are being guided to contemplate on this further. There's a new beginning right there in the Fool. And it's connected to you being patient and your crossroads and also the direction you choose, right? Let's clarify some of these cards for you, Scorpio. Let's see here. I'm curious about that 10 of Wands and High Priestess connection. What's going on there? Judgment, yeah. There's the Judgment card again. So this is all about a spiritual awakening for you. This is about you seeing the difference between what the ego wants and what the divine and you have written together. What your higher self and the divine have co-created for you in this lifetime may not be what your ego wants. Scorpio. Let's look at that Chariot. There it is. Yep. There's a lot of conflict around something here that's not for you. Free yourself from this. You have an emotional attachment to it. There's something here that you're attached to emotionally from the past that just needs closure. There's too much fighting. There's too many battles of ego. There's too much conflict, and it's not for you. You're really needing to choose a higher ground here, to not get too involved in someone's drama. Six of Pentacles, because that'll leave you unbalanced. You're going to end up getting yourself in a situation where you're giving more than you're receiving. And it needs to be in balance, or else you're sort of stuck in this martyr loop where you're constantly giving, and then you feel depleted, and the energy around that connection is low. So you need something more in balance here. Yep. You're getting this intuitive message, but I feel like you're not hearing it. And then you're going to end up facing like a tower moment where it's like the divine steps in and karmically clears out stuff that's not for you anymore. That Eight of Wands, this is moving fast, but you're not maybe hearing it. You're not paying attention to it. There's the Chariot now upright. So it makes me feel like by paying attention to that inner voice, you'll know which way to guide this Chariot. You may also be dealing with someone who's a Cancer, or you may have Cancer in your chart. There's another Six of Wands. I feel like once you move away from all of these conflicts and you get yourself in a situation where there's balance, you will be in a situation where you're sort of acknowledged for your efforts. And I think people are going to be paying attention to you in a bit of how did they do this? What's their secret? I want to do that too. Maybe I could learn from this person, kind of thing. But it's also going to lead to the end of this cycle. This unfinished symphony will be finished. And I feel like it will end on a note where there is separation. So you almost are sort of moving away from what's not for you. This confirms it. So there will be a moment in this process. You've got 3 sixes here, by the way. You've got the Six of Cups, Six of Wands, and Six of Pentacles. This is a moment of evolution. You're really stepping in truly into a place where you're going to see the end of something here. But it's needed to end. This had to come into completion. It has to be finished. And I feel like you're moving towards that ending this week. And it's going to cause a separation that might hurt your heart a little bit. You might take it overly personally. But just remember that this is a blessing. This situation is not for you. You have another 6 here in the not for you card. 6. You've got 6s all over the place here. This is moving you towards a moment of self-realization. This is an awakening, self-realization. This is a big aha moment where you start to figure out something really important. Yeah, there's the Queen of Wands. She's coming out in reverse, so that tells me that there could be an energy around you, a feminine energy. Again, that's not male or female, but a feminine energy around you that you're hanging on to, and it's not for you, and it disturbs your energy. You need to focus here on this feminine energy, okay? And bringing balance into the body, mind, and spirit with the Empress, bringing in healing, bringing in this unifying sort of this unifying energy that sort of brings you to a place of understanding this whole process and what it was trying to teach you about yourself. That's the question here, is what did this experience teach me about myself, and what choices will I make now that I understand that? That is the ultimate question for you in this reading, Scorpio. Even if it involves separation, you're separating from something that's not for you. And it almost feels like you're trading in one low energy for a higher perspective, and seeing things in a way that really ties this all together. And it's almost like you're going to understand the last chunk, the last chapter, the last timeline. You're going to get it. It's coming into clarity for you. Let's see. What does Scorpio need to surrender or surrender to? Surrender or surrender to. Okay, so we've got 2 cards. This one's very interesting. The first one that came out for you is surrender to your intuition. Listen to the message, though. It's exactly what I've been saying. Tune into your inner voice. Be aware of any gut feelings, flashes of knowing, that aha moment that comes through to guide you. That's exactly what's happening here. Surrender worry. Make a commitment not to lead an anxiety-driven life. When worries arise, breathe them out of your body. Focus on the power of your heart. And have faith that Spirit is guiding you always. And I feel like right now you're being guided away from something and to bring closure to something that's not for you. Even if it involves the past, and a past connection that you held very close to your heart. You might have some nostalgia around this, but trusting that you need to separate from it, listening to that inner voice. The bottom of the deck is surrender, low self-esteem. So if any part of this connection reinforces this low self-esteem, that's why maybe it's got to go. It says here, you deserve success, love, and abundance. Set an intention to identify and release any remnants of low self-esteem. Behind that, we see surrender to complete healing, open fully to the loving, compassionate forces of the universe that support your physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. You know, Scorpio, this is an amazing reading. It's been very clear, and I feel like you're really being guided away from something and towards something else. Something that's not for you. Even though you feel very attached to it, it's not for you, and you're going to understand why very soon. Tap into your intuition. There's something that's got to go here, and intuitively you already know what that is. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. I hope it's been helpful. If it has and it's resonated for you, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. If you would like a personal reading, you can find the link for that in the description below. All right, my friends, I'm sending you so much love and light. Take care.